big haircut color?
Yes, Erica.
Thank you. If I made a lot of money, I wouldn't ask you.
I don't care, Erica.
Yeah, you do.
I was going to offer to pay for it anyway.
Aw, well, thanks, Dad.
I just wanted you to give me a kiss goodbye.
Oh, yeah, right. You don't care about that. Matt,
I did. What's under your eyes?
it's my baking, setting powder.
You're baking.
Yeah, gotta blend it in just a minute.
Got it. Letting their concealer bake. What's up, everybody? Good morning. That was an unorthodox open to Morning Scone. As many years as we've now done this show, better than 4 years, about 4.5 years we've been doing more every day for 4.5 years. I think that's the first time we had an open like that.
What?
Oh, well, just like that.
Okay,
You know. Bye, Erica.
Meanwhile, it's cut in color.
Okay, Erica, I'll be here watching college football.
Okay.
See you whenever. All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday, week 0 edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Okay, everybody, week 0 is here. Get fired up for it. I know you are. I am. I don't even really care that the best game of the day is Nebraska and Northwestern from Dublin, Ireland. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch Florida State against Duquesne, really just as an opportunity to watch Florida State. And tonight, you better believe, I will be up late, 9:30 kickoff to watch Vanderbilt against Hawaii. But I will be up watching it, y'all. All right, let's say some good mornings. Trivia Carter, Brandon, what's good? Donald, and me, A. Cashman, what's up? Howard Jr., what's up, everybody? Football is back, kind of, but still it's back. I remember a few years ago, we had a week 0 game. It was like Florida against Miami on week 0. Man, that was a good week 0 game. Brandon, one takeaway from last night, our starters stay healthy, the offense will be dangerous. You know, sure, but I think we already knew that. But here's the thing. The Chargers didn't play any of their starters. Bosa wasn't out there. Like, we talked about it with Todd Graffinini, who did our scene setter on AFR before the game. The Chargers were playing mostly third-teamers. They didn't play anybody. On offense, they didn't play Herbert or Allen or any of their starters. So, like, the Saints starters ran right through the Chargers backups. Okay. So I actually have nothing to take away from that game other than Trevor Penning got hurt. I'm so ticked that they played the starters yesterday. Like, what good did that prove? Anyway, Kyle Aycock, what's going on? What did you see to be excited about? Kurt Merritt played really well. He had what felt like a roster spot on the line. They've been really pushing for him to make the roster, and he scored. He had a receiving touchdown last night. They did line him up at running back as well. We got to see him there. He did not have a carry though. He had 4 catches though, some on special teams. And then Trevor Penning injured his toe on the touchdown run. So Saints' first drive of the game went right down the field, and I think it was Ingram who plowed in for the touchdown from like the 1. Yeah, it was Ingram. And Penning got hurt, a little friendly fire on that play. And then there was a wackadoo play. If y'all didn't watch the game or you haven't seen highlights yet, Andy Dalton threw a pass. He had Traquan open. He threw it a little wide. Traquan laid out for it and couldn't come down with it. But as he's going to the ground, the ball bounced, high into the air. And Marquez Callaway caught it and ran it in for a touchdown. Well, they ruled it, hit the ground, blew the play dead. Well, the Saints challenged, and Traquan Smith, like, his hand was under the ball the whole time. So when it bounced, his hand bounced and, like, threw the ball into the air. But because they ruled it dead, it didn't count as a touchdown, but it counted as like a 16-yard reception. Wackadoo play. Drew's up. Hey, Drew. Cassie Barris, good morning. Kelly Gross, Kurt Kirk Taylor, good morning. Darren Straub, good morning. You love them, but you don't always like them. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Truax, good morning from Lawn Farm. All right, Truax. Jamie Leday, good morning. Quentin Brakebill, Missy Martin, love the shirt. Yeah, let him play neck. Buddy of mine who did radio in Alabama, guy's name is Arky Shea. He actually did a morning show with Cole Kublik years ago. Arky got laid off during the pandemic when a lot of people did, and so he pivoted and started like a t-shirt website, and this was one of the shirts that he had printed. Kirk Taylor, the St. Leo Seton Football Lions have their jamboree this afternoon. First game since 2013. I've been on football. Oh, you're going to coach. Okay. Shelby, Jameis looked great. I know it's preseason and all that. He looked comfortable. Took the hit well. That's the other thing, Shelby, is watching Jameis get spun around like a pretzel when he stepped up in the pocket and they high-load him. I'm holding my breath. Freaking preseason. I was so on edge watching that first series with the offense and defense, too, for that matter. Catherine Babineau, Lowell Cormier, turf toe on Penny. That sucks. Did they rule it turf toe? Because I was watching after the game 1 hour ago. Okay. Turf toe is no joke, y'all. A bad case of turf toe. God dog it. Ugh. Anyway, that sucks. I'll tell you the reason I'm not more livid about that, and I would have been if James Hurst were out. Because if James Hurst were out and Penning was expected to be your starting left tackle and he had gotten hurt, now you're on your third left tackle, I'd have been pissed. But it sounds like, listening to Dennis Allen after the game, Hurst is ready to come back. They were just holding him out. So really in playing Penning, they were playing the backup. So, he's a first-round pick. Obviously want him to play and have an impact. His impact this year probably would have been as your sixth lineman. So, maybe like, the reporting eligible, the tight end eligible, lineman in the jumbo package. Like, he would have had a role for sure. And I think still will. But with Hurst coming back, I'm less, somebody had to play left tackle. And I was for him getting reps. If Hurst if his injury were more severe, then I'd been pissed. Let's see. Kirk 1045 should come out. Matt and T-Bob Fieldside. Yeah, not happening today, bro. No, I know you're LOLing, but no shot, brother. We're doing morning Scone. I'm taking Drew to go ride elevators, and then I will be plopped down on the couch starting at 11:30 to watch the game from Dublin, and I will not move until, 9:30 the Vanderbilt game starts. So that'll finish around 1 a.m. Central. I will be here till about 1 a.m. Yes. Ray, do you think we'll see anything with Florida State today? Ray, I expect Florida State to be dominant. They should. They're taking on an FCS school. But, what you could potentially see are deficiencies, right? If Florida State struggles in certain areas against Duquesne, it's reasonable to think, okay, they may struggle in that area next week. Samuel Merrifield, Matt, Saints look special this season. Do you think they are a dark horse for the title? I do, Samuel. I think we've seen it enough in the wild card era that if you just get in, right? Just get in. The Giants at 9-7 won the Super Bowl, beating the 18-0 Patriots. It's the NFL. You just have to get into the tournament. I do think the Saints are a contender. Absolutely. They've clearly got all of the offensive firepower with Michael Thomas back, and you add Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave. Alvin Kamara looked awesome last night. The line looks good. The question is left tackle, but if James Hurst is there, we know he can be solid. I would still love for them to add another defensive lineman. I keep saying this, but Ndamukong Suh is still unsigned. That's a veteran guy who's never missed a game due to injury, did not need camp, so he just sat out through camp. He'll sign with somebody. Is it Tampa? Is it somewhere else? I would love it. Ndamukong Suh, the Saints who traded Malcolm Brown last year as a cap casualty. Jacksonville cut him, so he's available. Excuse me. Malcolm Brown's available. I mean, you got options. I would love to see them add a defensive lineman. They do that. I think they're in really good shape. Hunter Fournette, what's up? Lance Richard. Any word on Penny yet? I just looked at turf toe. Malcolm McKay, morning. Football is back. Malcolm from Idaho. All right, Malcolm. My brother-in-law is from Idaho. My sister married an Idahoan. Dan Clue out 504. Morning, Scone. Saints, great job. Glad to see Jabbo wins out there. I was not glad to see him out there. Did not want to see him having any part whatsoever in a preseason game. But yes, glad he led a touchdown drive and sat the rest of the night. Jesse Brown, severe turf toe. How much time do you think he'll miss? I don't know, but that's like turf toe is no joke. I mean, there have been guys who have missed a month or more. Grade 3 from 2 to 6 months for the most severe turf toe. Grade 1 may resolve within a week. Grade 2 may take 2 weeks to resolve. Grade 3, severe turf toe, anywhere from 2 to 6 months. I mean, he's going to miss some time, y'all, especially playing that physical position. Randall Offrecht, any upsets today? Nah. If you're looking for one, look for Northwestern Nebraska. Nebraska is, I think, like a 10-point favorite in the game. I'll get you the exact spread on that game, but that's one to look for. I think Pat Fitzgerald will have Northwestern coached up, and I think Nebraska is desperate. Scott Frost has a ton of urgency, but I also think Nebraska should win the game. But where's my week 0 games? I'm looking for the spreads on week 0. Oh, there it is. My bad. Okay. Shoot. Get off my screen, fool. Here we go. Nebraska 11. Nebraska 11. And Vanderbilt, like, I think Hawaii is going to be interesting because remember Timmy Chang, who's the former Hawaii quarterback? He's their coach now. He's only been an offensive assistant at some really small schools like Division III type schools. They brought him home because they ran Todd Graham out of there. He's bringing back the June Jones run and shoot offense. That's going to be fascinating to see what Hawaii looks like. If Vanderbilt can go and pull that one off. Vanderbilt loses this game, next week might be their only chance to remainder of the season to win a game. Jesse Brown, what's good? Your fave 5-head morning Scone from LA. Throw out the record books when Vandy and Hawaii get together. Well, there are no record books. Both teams are 0-0. Doug Knows, good morning. Larry Gardner, good morning. Ryan Rogers, morning. I was watching AFR. The guy from Texas saying he wanted the game to matter for both fans. Does LSU really care about the Maggies? Of course they do. LSU fans get triggered by Texas A&M because they get a lot of attention. They want to be great, and they haven't reached that yet. So yes, Texas A&M triggers LSU fans. Absolutely, you're asking about it. There's no fan base that triggers Hunt Palmer more than Texas A&M. What Billy was referring to is that the game means something. Like if you're going to play that game on the final week of the regular season, meaning like winner goes to Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like have a couple of teams that are both at 10 or 11 wins at that point. That's what he means. Like the game means a lot because the Jimbo stuff, the printing the 7 overtimes and scoring the cups, just all the stuff that's happened, poaching assistants, all the off the field stuff that's happened with LSU and Texas A&M since they've been in the league. But what he was referring to, and I agree with him, is the game itself meaning a lot. LSU and Alabama for a long stretch meant a lot. The winner was probably winning the West. You know what I mean? That just hasn't been the case for LSU and A&M. And a big part of that is A&M not holding up their end of the bargain on that. Donovan Thibodeau, good morning. Personally begging you to debate head up with this Driscoll clown, you would destroy him. You know, Donovan, listen, here's the thing. He's talking about Brian Driscoll from the Notre Dame guy that everybody's all hyped on. So I don't do like screaming radio. Let me rephrase. I will be passionate and rant and stuff like that. I have never done, and I have no interest in like getting someone on as a guest of my show and yelling at them. I've always looked at my show for guests the same way I would a house guest. If I call you and invite you to my home, I'm not going to welcome you. I'm not going to open the door and then mistreat you when you're a guest in my home. I'm not going to make you get up and go get your own food. I'm not going to like tell you to sit outside. I'm not going to yell at you. Like you're a guest in my home. I'm going to make you feel welcome. That's how I feel about guests on my show. If someone's kind enough to give me their time, they're not compensated. You're just a guest on a radio show. Like if you're going to be kind enough to give me your time, then I'm having you on the show because I think there's a perspective or something that would be beneficial for my audience to hear. Like, I'm not going to get a guest on the show just to yell at him. Now, if he wants to invite me on his show and I could give him my perspective, I don't even know if he does a show actually. Sure. If there were a setting where somebody wanted to like host something like that, okay. Like I'm going on Monday on Crane & Company, okay? If Jake wanted to bring Brian Driscoll on there for that purpose and have us both on at the same time, okay, I don't care. And I don't really have a great desire to yell at him. I've spoken my point, my piece. Like y'all know how I feel about the whole thing. And I know how he'll react too. He'll just laugh and shrug it off because that is inherently the problem that Notre Dame has, is they can't acknowledge that they are their problem because they believe Notre Dame is the greatest, most special place in the world. But it takes a very particular person that wants to go to school there and wants to be there. And as such, it shrinks the pool of potential recruits. And when you do that, you're never going to be able to put together a roster that's good enough to beat the likes of Alabama and Clemson and Ohio. That's why, and that's not a Brian Kelly problem, y'all. That goes back to when Charlie Weiss in 2005, they went to the Fiesta Bowl and got absolutely dump trucked by Ohio State. A year later with Brady Quinn, they go to the Sugar Bowl and get absolutely annihilated by LSU and Jamarcus Russell. As good as Notre Dame, and people thought that Notre Dame team was, how did they look against LSU with Jamarcus and Dwayne Bowe? And I mean, they were talking about Brady Quinn and Jeff Samardzija. LSU had Jamarcus Russell and Dwayne Bowe and Buster Davis and Brandon LaFell and Glenn Dorsey and Jacob Hester and Keelan Williams. I mean, like they had nobody that looked like that. That's the problem. And that's been a problem there forever. Jason Mobile, good morning. Dig the shirt, yeah. Clint, what's going on? Good morning. Did you see Brian Kelly using Harold Perkins on offense? No. But you got enough. Hey, look, if they got into it like an emergency situation at running back, maybe. But, I mean, I think they use him more like they used Kendall Beckwith his freshman year. 2013, Beckwith was such a freak athlete. They had to get him on the field. If you remember, I remember the TCU game, that season opener. They put him in the game just to go rush the passer. It was like third down. Hey, just go put your hand in the dirt. Go run and get the quarterback. Like, no other responsibility. Just go get the quarterback. Nicholas Cantrell, morning Scone. ESPN did the best top 5 coach moves in the new season. Brian Kelly 5, Marcus 3, Lincoln Riley 1. Thoughts? Who do you think wins the Natty first, Kelly or Riley? The argument to be made. So putting Marcus Freeman ahead of Brian Kelly is just stupid. I mean, that's. Objectively, you're talking about a first-time head coach. That makes no sense. Anyway, I'd get Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley has made the playoff. So has Brian Kelly twice. And Brian Kelly inherited a far worse situation at Notre Dame than Lincoln Riley inherited at Oklahoma. But I could be okay with Lincoln Riley at USC being number one on that list. The other thing to keep in mind too is if you're Lincoln Riley, so the way you asked the question, who wins a Natty first? I'll tell you, I think Lincoln Riley will get USC into the playoff first because I mean you've got to win. You got to win the Pac-12. The Pac-12. The Pac-12 hasn't put a team in the playoff since Washington in 2016, right? So the Pac-12 has a little bit of an uphill climb, but USC will get that benefit of the doubt. Nicholas Cantrell, I just read that one, sorry. Ethan Mott, how long will Trevor be out? It's not determined yet. Greg T, all I could think about last night was Scone screaming profanities as Winston trotted onto the field. I did. A. Cashman, I care about being A. Most people do. Boo Daddy, is Duquesne on the level of North Dakota State? Yeah, Duquesne is FCS, yes. Kyle Milliken, morning, Matt Trevor Penning, WTF. I know. Let's see. Oh, look, they're featuring LSU over under 7 wins. Well, it's on low. Hang on.
Brian Kelly will say 8 in his little southern accent.
Oh, you're saying 8. I thought you were saying like AITE, like I. And I was like, okay, thank you. Now, the greatest
Who tells you at 8?
you know.
That's where I got him. Was Penning going to start? I thought Hurst was still the guy. Obviously a loss if he was. No, that's my point. That's the point I'm making. Because it looks like James Hurst is ready to come back, then I'm okay with Penning playing in that preseason game last night if Hurst is ready. Michael Adams, tell my wife Kelly Adams good morning. That's kind of rude, Michael. I mean, you could say please. I mean, that's a little rude. Tell my wife Kelly good morning. How about, could you please say hi to my wife Kelly? There's a polite way to do things. Anyway, because she had nothing to do with your rude request or your rudely worded request. Good morning, Kelly Adams. I hope you have a wonderful day. Michael Adams, hopefully your wife can teach you some manners and how to be polite. But I think Michael Adams is actually the guy who came up with the idea for the Badger Juice beer. So I'm actually, I can't be mad at him. Can't be mad at him. This is a great idea. Tim Sonier, love the shirt. But let me see if I can find out the shirt, because a lot of y'all are asking about this or mentioning it. I wonder if Arky still has this website. Let's see, Arky. He doesn't have it linked in his profile anymore. I don't know if he's still doing the shirt thing. He does still have it. It was $29, but if y'all want it, all right, here you go. If you're interested in the shirt, I'm gonna post it in the comments, both on YouTube and on Facebook. Again, my buddy Arky Shea, who did radio, got laid off with COVID, started a t-shirt website, and let him play neck. So anyway, if you're interested, no, I don't care if you do. I don't get anything from it. I'm just telling you, if you want, fire away. Kelly Presley, good morning. Good to hear Drew. I need to get him over here. Oh gosh, I'm a little behind on Facebook. My bad. YouTube, smash that like button if you would. Wow, 130 watching, only 34 likes. Maybe we can get that up. That'd be great. Brian Penton, good morning from Cincinnati. Keith and Emery, good morning. I was wondering what your take would be on 2 former quarterbacks possibly taking 2 starting jobs in the SEC at 2 other schools. Yeah, it looks like Finley's going to win the Auburn job, and it sounds like Haynes King is going to win the A&M job. So I don't think Max Johnson's going to win that job at A&M. Michael Richard, morning, Mr. Matt. Were you impressed how the first looked without Michael Thomas? Yeah, Michael, they looked great. I mean, they went right down the field and scored. The thing that I would tell you to temper expectations or remind you is that the Chargers were not playing their starters. So the Saints ones went right down the field against the Chargers 2s and 3s. So I don't really know that you could take much from it. Brant Roban, what you sipping on today for the games? I don't know, Brant. Probably beer. It's probably a beer day. Rode Yule, Scott Frost coaching for his job this year? Absolutely. Guy took a pay cut to keep his job. You better believe he's coaching for it this year. Mark Ingram missed substantial time 1 year with turf toe. That's true. Daniel Sinets, Matthew Garner, Mike Beckelheimer. Who won the bet between you and Terrio? The bet never got settled. So last night, Catholic played Dunham and in the Jamboree. So Terrio wanted points. I was like, let's bet straight up. Come on, if you're that confident. But he wanted points. And we got into a point, and I went back and rewatched it because after the game, so Catholic won by 7. It was weird. Catholic went up and down the field too, threw an interception in the end zone, and then had first and goal at the 1 and had 40 yards of penalties. High school football. So anyway, but Catholic won 15-8, so they won by 7. And I went back and I told Terrio, I was like, I'll give you 8. I told him I'll give you 8, and he goes 1.5. He wanted the hook. I was like 8. And he's like, I wouldn't make that bet. And it's the last thing he said. So we never actually made a bet. And he would have won it with the 8 if he had taken it, but he didn't take it. Henry Gordon Bennett, Scone, please invite the clown, Driscoll and AFR. Preston Guy had him on, and he was the rudest guy ever. For Tiger Nation, please have him on, put him in his place. And he seems to want to interact with LSU media. Yeah, I kind of just went through that. So, I'll be on Crane and Company on Monday at 7:30 a.m. So actually, you know what I'll do? It'll be at morning Scone time. So I will I'll do Crane and Company on my Surface. And so I'll set up my phone and stream my appearance on Crane and Company so you all can watch it if you want. But it'll be on YouTube. So Monday morning Scone, you'll have to be on YouTube. Blaine Smith, Richard Tilley Sr., good morning. Ryan Dixon, how big of an advantage will Florida State have over LSU playing first game this weekend? You know what, Ryan? At Media Days, I asked that to Mike Jones, and he said, well, actually, I think it's a benefit for us because we'll have game film to watch. But I'll respect to Brian Kelly in his coach's show. He did say, he said, yeah, it's an advantage for them getting to play, which it is. I mean, getting to go have a dress rehearsal and go get reps because there's no way to replace reps. So, anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an advantage for sure. It was for UCLA last year. They played Hawaii week 0. Jacob Falcon, he only yells at us, LOL. Blaine Smith, depends. Could knock the rust off. Could have injuries. Could give LSU film to prepare for. Henry Gordon Bennett, it's not about screaming and ranting to him. It's about feeding him with facts that he clearly doesn't have. I mean, I've put that out there. And y'all can go. The tweet is out there of my comments from the other day. You're welcome to go tag him in it. He can watch it. It's not going to help. That's the problem. Like, it's just not going to matter for that guy. Like, that's the problem with Notre Dame, y'all. Like, and I know I say this, and I'm hesitating to go any further, but it is a very if you are in their bubble, then you're cool. If you're not in their bubble, then it's an ivory tower type mentality. So that's why look at their hires, okay? Lou Holtz retires. They hire from within with Bob Davie. Bob Davie out. Who did they hire? George O'Leary. Why? An Irish Catholic football coach. Oh my God. And of course he faked his resume and never coached a game at Notre Dame. They hired Tyrone Willingham, an outsider. Lasted 3 years. No coach in Notre Dame history had only lasted 3 years. Why? Outsider. They ran him out. Who did they hire? Charlie Weiss. Why? He's a Notre Dame alum. He's a Notre Dame alum. He gets us. He loves us. And he was a coach with the Patriots. They gave the dude a raise, a 10-year contract, for a close loss to USC. Y'all, I'm telling you, like, they cannot help themselves. It's as plainly as you could possibly say it about Notre Dame. When you have when you have not won in 34 years, 34 years, and every time you've been on a main stage, regardless of coach, you have been embarrassed. If you can't understand, like, hey, maybe we should do something different, that's on you. Like, but they just don't get it. And so they're never going to win at a high enough level. And that's on them. Like, there is a way for Notre Dame to win again. Like the same way Tennessee or Miami right now with NIL is doing it. The number one 5-star quarterback for next year from California is going to Tennessee. Tennessee hasn't been nationally relevant in 20 years. Why is that kid going there? Notre Dame wants to put together a gigantic collective and start paying the best players in the country. They could get kids there. But if it comes down to Notre Dame, Alabama, Ohio State, there's going to be some recruits who don't want to go live in a normal, cell of a dorm room in Stanford Hall on Notre Dame's campus. So build athletic dorms, improve your facilities, get into NIL. You can win. You can win. But they're just not going to do that. They value their culture, their campus life way too much to do that. So their mentality is, well, if you don't like the way we do stuff, then don't come here. Okay. Well, you'll get some really good players, but you'll never have enough to beat the best teams. You could win 10, 11 games. You can even get to a playoff. Brian Kelly did it. Brian Kelly got to a playoff, and what happened? Look what happened in 2020. COVID year. Trevor Lawrence is hurt. They beat Clemson at Notre Dame Stadium in the regular season. They have the rematch in the ACC Championship game. Trevor Lawrence is back. How'd that game go? Blew the doors off of Notre Dame. I think they shut him out. That's Notre Dame problem, bro. Like I said, I'm kind of tired of talking about it. Like, Notre Dame is their own problem. It's not LSU's problem. The best thing LSU could do is just go win. Go win. Watch week 1 with Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame get their head kicked in. You can laugh at them. Chance Babin, one of the Saints, make the cut to 53. Tuesday. Everybody makes their cuts to 53 on Tuesday. Charlie Cavell, what's good? Derek Poisson. What's up, Derek? Rode Yule, Blake Oob, John Andrews. Have you heard anything about Penning's foot injury? Turf toe. Patrick Kason, Blake Oob, Mark Batanovich, good morning, good morning. Carrie Hughes, how is Erica's back? Thank you for asking, Carrie. Yeah, man, so she's good. I still a little sore, but Crystal got her upright. I tell you all the time, man, Crystal Poche, she's a miracle worker. She's a healer is what she is, but Erica, a couple of days ago, she was just like literally in tears and could not stand. Her back hurt so bad. She got up the next morning and went to school. I begged her just to stay home, but she didn't. She went to school, and 9 a.m. she called me and she's like, "Can you please get me an appointment with Crystal?" So I called Crystal. Thankfully she had an opening at like 1:45. Erica went and saw her. Talked to her later that day. She sounded like herself again. I'm telling you. If you have pain, just book a session. Restored Motions. I'll just put the link in the comments. All right. Brown Bear 765. Morning, Matt. I'm stationed in Virginia. I've been in Pensacola since June doing trainings. It's so nice not to have to worry if the Saints are going to be on TV where I'm at. Awesome. Thank you for your service. Brad David, in your Will Wade interview, he said he complained about facilities since he got to LSU. Why has Scott Woodward not addressed making upgrades? It's just too expensive right now. No, Brad. So right now, LSU should actually be about to release it, but LSU did a really big comprehensive facility study this past spring, and they were supposed to release, or they hired a firm to do it. They're supposed to release all the findings this summer, but that's come and gone, so it should be anytime soon. But no, it's more priorities. Also keep in mind, when Scott Woodward was hired, Will Wade was on thin ice, so he wasn't exactly in a spot where he could really bargain for anything. Lance, am I the only one that learned there are challenges in preseason games? Probably so. Yeah, you can challenge. And Dennis Allen's 2-0. Maybe another underrated part of the preseason is Dennis Allen went 2-0 in the preseason on challenges. Sean Payton was one of the worst in the NFL at challenges. Shane Carver, heard the Saints were fielding some trade calls. Are there any trades you would like to see to go down? If I'm the Saints, I'm not trading anybody. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you always pick up the phone, but I don't know if there's anybody on this roster that would have great value that's worth trading. I guess it also depends what you get. Phil, in regards to your shirts, since Southern Band plays neck all the time, do you think LSU officials tell them not to play? Good question. Thought about that. I don't know. Doubt it. Kyle Brister, good morning. I don't know what Jameis playing last night did for his confidence, but I know what it did for mine. Kyle, if you all of a sudden have confidence in Jameis Winston because the Saints' first team offense went right down the field against the Chargers backups, I think your confidence is misplaced. Like any NFL starter should be able to beat an NFL back. A team of starters should beat a team of backups. Kyle Milliken, Garner Johnson missed 4 games with turf toe. Josh Giraldo, how many receivers do you think the Saints keep? I think Kirk Merritt will be 6. Kyle Brister, I don't know why people are referring to the Saints as a dark horse. They have the best defensive line in football. I think, what I will say, is I think the Saints' defensive front 7 has been exceptional at stopping the run. I do think that. But I think the Saints are super thin at defensive tackle. David Onyemata is a stud. And I think they have gotten serviceable reps from guys like Shai Tuttle, Malcolm Roach. But no. Wendell Norman, Murder Giraffe, David Bowden, more Matt. Do you think LSU can win close games with the defense? Sure. I think they'll lose some too. When does Brian Kelly name a starting quarterback? He said Monday or Tuesday. I mean, he's got his Monday press conference at noon, so I would like to think that today they are working on Florida State, so I would like to think that they have their guy today taking all the first team reps. Drake Dishler, Kyle Brister, Penning could have gout. That is the first symptom of gout. You believe you have turf toe. That's how it attacked me for years. Gout sucks. Sorry to hear that. I don't think he's got gout. I think he was whiplashed by a teammate, a little friendly fire last night. He has turf toe. But maybe he has gout. Maybe you're right. Brad David, do you think Ed will coach here? Yes, I think he'll be a recruiting defensive line type coach at Miami. Peyton MC, how come the national media praises USC, Oklahoma, Notre Dame in the polls, but an LSU team with just as much or more talent and a proven head coach doesn't get the benefit of the doubt? Well, Oklahoma's easy because they were really good last year, and they still have a really good roster, so they deserve to be ranked. Same with Notre Dame. USC was not very good last year, but you could argue no team did more in the transfer portal adding key players than USC. You've got a dynamic quarterback in Caleb Williams. You added the Biletnikoff Award winner at receiver and a proven offensive head coach. LSU don't got none of that. I mean, Brian Kelly's a very good coach, but LSU has major roster questions. I'm fine with LSU not being ranked. You won 500 back-to-back seasons. You don't deserve to be ranked. I'm very okay with voters having a I need to see it, like prove it mentality. I'm very okay with that. Yeah, that's a great point. Rob Boudreaux said Frost is another example of fit doesn't always equal winning. So true. Joey B19, Murder Giraffe. Bro wants A&M to be good. I guess that's a Billy Lucci reference. Matt, I have my fantasy draft tomorrow. Should I take Kamara? You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know fantasy football. Please don't ask. Did you happen to see Brian Driscoll on Tiger Bait? I did not. Fat Boy Slim, good morning, Scone and Sconers. Trivia Carter, is LSU A&M more important to the Maggies or or the A&M Texas game. Texas. Texas is always going to be their biggest rival if they play that. And that game, that Texas A&M game, really always meant more to A&M too. Fat Boy Slim, after watching the first couple of drives last night of the Houdats, it's safe to say the NFL and NFC South is on notice. Again, they were playing backups. It was Saints starters against Chargers backups. You didn't see Bosa, you didn't see Derwin James, you didn't see Tillery, you didn't see their starters. So, Matt, you said if anyone gets hurt, you'll start AFR Monday on a rant. Can we look forward to that on Monday? Talked about it earlier, Jesse. I would be way more triggered, but for the fact that it looks like James Hurst is healthy. So, and they were just holding him out. So your starter at left tackle is there, so I'm good. Casimir Edwards, good morning, Joey B19. That Driscoll clown said he wanted Notre Dame to leave after 2020 when they made the playoffs. It's petty sour grapes. Oh, you meant with Kelly. Peyton MC, trivia. You want the birthday song for your wife? Okay, I did promise you that earlier this week. Let me see if I can get Drew in here. Remind me her name, trivia. Remind me your wife's name. Melissa? Michelle? Drew. Drew, come see Daddy. Drew, come see Daddy. Danny Brewer, Jeff Samardzija, that's a great pull. Had a decent MLB career. Remember seeing he had more than one contract than Calvin Johnson in his career. Oh. Eugene Sutherland, morning Matt. Somewhat relieved with the pending prognosis. Turf toe can be tricky. Casimir Edwards, my opinion about Trevor Penning, I think his improvement is that he's much better run blocking than Hurst is at pass blocking. I would have started Penning game one had he not gotten hurt. Yeah, that's fine, Casimir. That wasn't going to happen. Like, they were going to start James Hurst, and I'm okay with that. I pointed out that it was when the Saints drafted Teron Armstead, he didn't start until week 16 against Carolina. So his rookie year. So I would have been really okay with bringing Penning along slowly, starting Hurst, going with a more proven veteran at left tackle. I actually told Ty Graffinini on air yesterday that if Hurst went down, I'd prefer, I think, Andres Pete go to left tackle and Throckmorton go to guard. We've seen Pete play left tackle in the NFL and do a pretty good job. And Throckmorton started 14 games. I played 14 games this year, started 10 of them. Hunter Picard, USC going to the Big Ten next year, though, right? Yes, I don't know what that's referring to, but was talking about this year, right? Why USC is ranked this year. And they're in the Pac-12, so I'm really okay with it. Eugene Sutherland, I've heard 4 to 6 weeks from most doctor types on Penning for what it's worth. Malcolm McKay with USC going to the Big Ten next year. Does Lincoln Riley make the playoffs? Next year? Hang on, his backpack's speaking. Let me think on that. I need to wrap my head around the Big Ten for next year. Okay. Ready to make my determination. I think USC in the Big Ten next year actually is going to have a great chance to make the playoffs their first year in the Big Ten. CJ Stroud will be gone from Ohio State. Of course, Quinn Ewers is no longer at Ohio State. He's at Texas now. So Ohio State will be breaking in a new quarterback and their receiving core as well. Jackson Smith and Jiba will be gone. And Caleb Williams will be a junior in 2023 at USC. So I think year 2, Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams together at Southern Cal does in fact put them in a position potentially to win the Big Ten. Yes. So I'll say yes. Year two of Lincoln Riley, year 1 in the Big Ten. Yes. Let's see, Mark. Can Daniels lead LSU football to a bowl game this year? Yes. Let's see. Vinay, it's been weeks. GameCoin has to announce their AMA soon, right? So, Vinay, I've told you this before, and I'm not trying to put you off, but we are waiting to do that until we can show the platform on the AMA. So, what's happening right now, literally every day, we have a Slack channel. I'm in it every day. We're going through the platform, pushing every button to make sure it goes where it's supposed to go. And then if there's corrections that need to be made, corrections are made. Could we do an AMA today? Yes. I feel like it would be incomplete. So it's coming. I know I keep saying that and ask you to be patient, but the more you ask, the more I have to give the answer. But trust me when I tell you, like, it is very much on everybody's radar. I had a long conversation on Tuesday with David Mailer about it. It's on everybody's radar, and it's like as soon as I was pushing very hard to do it before football season started, but football season starts in earnest next Saturday. So I'm hopeful that we could do something, but I may even push to do something like maybe on Friday or something like that. But very, very, very aware. Okay, so I know you want news with the AMA. It's not being put off. It's not being slow tracked. We're not dragging feet. Everyone is working very hard. Sorry, there's a wasp in here. I thought it was on my leg. But as soon as we can, we'll tell you. Mark, what's going on? Let's see. Todd Harris, Ira Fields. Lee, I got my lunch packed up, my boots tied tight. Hope I don't get in a fight. Will the Saints cut Traquan Smith? Hope so. Ryan Amanda Guidry, got to go. All right, Ryan, good to see you this morning. Jacob Falcon. Speaking of Traquan, we need to keep him. Did you see him assist last night? Why didn't the TD count last night that bounced off the hands? Because they blew it dead. Because they had blown it dead, the continuation of the play didn't count. If they had let him run into the end zone before blowing the whistle dead, it would have been a touchdown on the overtime. Andy Dalton went 10 for 10 in the preseason. Very solid backup. Completely agree with that. I think he's the best backup in the NFL, literally. I mean, a backup that started over 100 games, has led teams to the playoffs. I think Andy Dalton is the best backup quarterback in the NFL. FSU quarterback worth worrying about? Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy in Jordan Travis who's played for parts of 3 years, so he's got a lot of experience. I don't think he's ever really, popped big time. But yeah, I mean, you talk about a veteran guy. There's always the chance he could hit that growth curve. All right. Eugene Southern. Oh, sorry, I read that one. Smash that like button if you haven't done so yet. 160 watching on YouTube. Appreciate that. Facebook. We got 30. So the Facebook crowd has thinned a little bit. 32 there. But look, if you would do us a favor, if you're on YouTube, subscribe up to the channel. We go live for Morning Scone every day when we do companion shows and Whiskey Wednesdays, post-game reacts and all. We do it here. So subscribe up to the channel. We appreciate it. Kyle Brister, can we say goodbye to Traquan? Yeah, I hope so. Joey Metke, good morning. I'll be working Sunday during the game. What app will stream the game? What game are you looking for on Sunday? Like next Sunday with the Saints? You'll need Sunday Ticket to stream. Brent Roban, and if you have to be out of market as well, is having to repeat yourself and explaining things over and over the most infuriating thing about your job. Sometimes, but the thing that I hate the most is when people try to tell me I said something I didn't say. That's the thing that annoys me the most. And y'all seen that before. Like, everything I say is recorded. Don't tell me you said fill in the blank and be wrong and misquote me. That just pisses me off. Everything I've said is recorded. This show every day, AFR is archived. You could find everything I've ever said forever if you really want to. So don't come at me with a you said and then what you say I said is wrong. That triggers me a lot. I know what I said because I repeat it over and over again on all these platforms. If it's Morning Scone or AFR, LSU Daily, when I do interviews, it's the only way to stay consistent is to say the same thing all these different places. Otherwise, your stories get crossways. So have an opinion, stick to it. So I know what my opinions of things are. Anyway, Joey B, my favorite thing about Matt is how consistent he is across all platforms. It's easy to keep up with what your opinion is if you're consistent with it. Bingo. How about that for validation? Leon Williams, Saints are going to take the league by storm. I'm thinking at least NFC Championship game. Look, man, here's the thing, Leon. The Saints were the 1 seed in 2018, made the NFC Championship game and lost. Saints, the best Saints team ever was 2011, and they lost on the road in the divisional round. So, to San Francisco. So, I mean, it's just so hard to make playoff predictions, right? Like, if you wanted to make a regular season record prediction, okay. Like, odds makers have the Saints at 8. I think they're going over 8. I think they've missed the mark on New Orleans. But once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen, man. Rob Boudreaux, I think the advantage for UCLA was our coaching staff. Well, it was multiple things. It was UCLA playing week 0. It was they had a better coaching staff. It was they had a veteran quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and for LSU, Max Johnson was starting the season. He played obviously late in his freshman year, but he was still a young quarterback. So there were many advantages UCLA had in hindsight. Drake Dishler, A&M, has the same mindset as High and Mighty program. Berta Giraffe, you can tell in the Manti Te'o documentary, he had a hard time adjusting to the culture at Notre Dame. Rob Boudreaux, Notre Dame has become Rudy. They are the walk-on now, right? They are the underdog story. Leon, I was a Notre Dame fan as a kid along with LSU. They had some cool players. Once they fired Willingham that fast, I was done and think they're too delusional to realize that the luster is worn. All things true. Someone did ask me last night, they're like, well, how did Lou Holtz, it was like asking legitimately, well, how did Lou Holtz get all those players? Well, 2 things. Number one, at that point in the 80s and early 90s, the NBC contract mattered. And Notre Dame was the only team that was on TV every week. So there was an allure to that at the time. The fact that you could go to Notre Dame and be on TV every week. That brand mattered 35 years ago. It mattered. It doesn't anymore. That's one. 2, I would encourage anybody to look this up about Holtz because the perception of Lou Holtz is that he's, good guy, all that sort of, and he may be, but every place he coached got pegged with sanctions shortly after he left, Notre Dame included. Arkansas, Wisconsin, Minnesota, NC State, and Notre Dame. All those places he coached got hit with sanctions shortly after he left. There was also a scandal at Notre Dame in the 80s where Notre Dame was injecting players with steroids, and they got popped for it. I think it's naive to assume that the head coach didn't know that, right? So, that's how. I mean, that's how they did it then. So it's been done. Can they do it again? Yeah, I mean, they can get back there, especially in an NIL era. They've just got to be willing to spend the money and drastically upgrade facilities. I mean, guys, do you realize, like, if, let's say, a 5-star recruit from Florida comes to LSU, and you walk into football ops and you immediately see this row of, like, all national championship, Heisman, all the new stuff. You go into the locker room and you have your own, like, your locker is a first-class airplane pod. When you live on campus, you're living in a newly built on-campus apartment. And you go to South Bend, and the dorms are like cells. I mean, I don't think you realize this, but most dorm rooms at Notre Dame, the students build lofts. Each, there's 2 to a room. So you have a bed. Most will build, like when kids move into campus that weekend, they build lofts. They'll take their bed and they'll build a loft to get the bed off the ground. Up. They'll like bolt it into the wall so that way you have more floor space because they're so small. Like, so you could go live in an apartment on campus at LSU or share a cell with a random stranger. Like, that ain't it for everybody, y'all. I mean, that ain't it for everybody. You want to live somewhere where it snows from October to May? Go to South Bend. It ain't it for everybody. Michael Broussard. Morning, Matt. LSU alum here, current Illinois grad student. Excited to go to week 0 today in Champaign. Very good, man. Enjoy. I think Illinois has got a great shot in that game today. Kenneth McAllister. What's up, Coach Ken? Good morning. Joey B19. Notre Dame might be able to recruit at a higher level moving forward with NIL. They're a top 3 class right now. Freeman will have success at that rate. Joey B. Wait until the final recruiting rankings come out. Because Notre Dame, like, I'll give you an example. Somebody hit me up yesterday and was like, man, A&M, do you think they're falling back to the pack now? They're not in anybody's top 10. Like, they have 9 commits. That's why they're not ranked highly. I think A&M's like the 45th class right now. They're 47 right now. They have 9 commits. Like, when they have 30 and they're all 4 and 5 stars, they're going to be top 3 again. But they only have 9 commits right now. Okay, they're just not filling their class early. Bama's got 21 and is ranked first. They got 4 or 5 stars. Texas is 2. Notre Dame has 23 commits. So Notre Dame has 2 more commitments than Alabama and is ranked 3rd while Bama's first. That's quality. Notre Dame's got 1 5-star, 19 4-stars, 3 3-stars. I mean, that's essentially, like, LSU right now has no 5-stars, 16 4-stars, and 5 3-stars. LSU's ranked 7. So, like, my point is, yes, they're building a nice class. Yes, Marcus Freeman is building a nice class. Brian Kelly had a lot of really nice recruiting classes, man. They were 7th last year. Do you realize that? They were 7th last year. They were 9th in 21. So you're talking top 10 classes. They were let's see, we're 18th in 2020. They were 15th in 2019. I gotta click and scroll back through all these. So you understand my point? They were 11th in 2014. You understand my point? Like, they've had top 10 classes right around there. I mean, and he's coached them up. But if you're not consistently where Bama, Georgia, you know who you see at the top of every class every year? Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, LSU. Like, that's what you have to be. And they're not and won't be. All right. Where are we? All right. Ashley Megan, good morning. Yeah, LOL. I know, right? Eugene Sutherland, I was just going to brush it aside. Did not think I'd hear Gout reference today. Here we are, right? Terrell Dixon, Matt, will you bring Erica back on AFR for the Pick'em segment? Terrell, I don't know. I thought we'd go back and do like actual celebrity guest pickers again this year. Trivia. Okay, your wife's pretty. Let me see if I can get Drew in here. I called him a little bit ago and he said no. But let me see if I can get him in here. Mike Stogger, morning, Matt from Hattiesburg. One request: will you please do one Saints companion show this year? I don't know, Mike. We'll think about it, Mike. Murder Giraffe, what's up? Casimir, I understand the logic. Pending improvement from the first preach guy. Okay, go a little quickly here, y'all. It's 9:41. Okay, we're almost done. Joey Metke, sorry for the confusion. I was asking LSU Florida State. I don't know where your question was, Joey. My bad. I'm scrolling back to see if I can find it. Sorry, man. These. Sunday for the Florida. Yeah, it'll be the game's on ABC, isn't it? So the ESPN app. It'll be on the ESPN app. Let's see. Old Soul Guidry. College football's finally back. Finally get to try this Eagle Rare bottle of Celebration. There you go. Michael Katrositz, Gaslighter. You think the Notre Dame guy is the Gaslighter? Stuart Angers, good morning. Jordan Haddad, OSU by 21. I mean, is that the line? Are they a 21-point favorite? God, Georgia's a 17.5-point favorite over Oregon. Arkansas 6 over Cincinnati. Where is it? Utah 2.5 over Florida. Where is it? Ohio State 17 over Notre Dame. And they'll cover it too. 17. Bruce Shales, Jordan Haddad, good morning. Snow without mountains, no, bingo. Cameron Machin, good morning. Not to be a bummer, I am headed to see my dad. He's in ICU with sinus infection pneumonia. Pretty serious. He's 83. Super healthy to begin with. Prayers appreciated. Absolutely, Cameron. We'll certainly be thinking about you and your family today, man. Sure he's in great hands, though. So, best to all of you today, man, for sure. Samuel Smith, was Camaro looking way more sticky and strong yesterday? Oh, yeah. Stocky, yeah. Oh, yeah. Leslie Martin, good morning from California. Okay. All right, y'all, think we're just about done. Any more on the Yeah, Charlie, you see FAMU had 20 ineligible players. I did see that. They're still playing the game. That's like when UNC played LSU back in 2010. They had all those guys that were ineligible. Okay, y'all, we are done. Facebook, please like the page, share the post if you've not done so yet. YouTube, please smash the like button and subscribe up to the channel if you haven't done so yet. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Need a roof, call Hudco. HudcoRoofing.com, roof repairs, roof replacements, commercial, residential. We will always give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Bottom line is, if anything is going on with your roof, just call me first. HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. All right, y'all have an awesome day. Football! Peace.